Hello everybody, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. Wednesdays live at 9 o'clock. Make sure you tell your friends that one of South Africa's biggest rugby shows is live on Cape Town TV every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We bring you the very best of rugby out of Cape Town. We keep the clubs up to date. We tell you what's happening with the clubs. We tell you what's happening with amateur rugby. We take a look at youth rugby. We will do at least during the club rugby season. And of course there's juniors coming through the ranks at now as well now. And of course this season we started a little bit earlier and we've managed to take a look at some of the Super 15 results, which has been quite exciting. A lot of people very interested in Super Rugby. They don't often get a chance to see Super Rugby. Of course, coming up tonight on the show, also lots of fantastic competitions. Mesa once again back in the mix, giving away some great prizes. Look out for those leisure hotel prizes, as well as, of course, Colour Tone and our primary sponsor, Evox. My esteemed panel this evening, Mr. Herman Abrams, the Deputy CEO of Western Province Rugby. Hello, Mr. H.
Good evening, JP.
Wat lyk dinge?
Ag nee, wat ons is gewoonlik baie rustig.
Maar jy was dan besig op die naweek, né?
Ja, dit was 'n besige naweek.
Besige naweek, besig. Jerome, how are you?
Very good, JP, thanks.
Looking healthy, man.
Always, JP.
This is the thing about rugby coaches, is that you guys like have to do half the work yourself.
Yeah, you have to, JP.
No sitting
Always
around.
have to set the example.
Yeah, which you've always done. I mean, you've always been like a bit of a role model.
Yeah.
I'm not saying complete role model, but a bit of a role model. Yeah. You've got family members though that are role models, right? I believe your mother is quite a big role model in the community.
Yeah, no, she was.
She was.
She was,
yeah. They warned me. They said to me, if you go down to Belleville Tech, it's Belleville, eh?
Yeah, Belleville, yeah.
Belleville. If you go down to Belleville, the stadium is most called.
It's named after my mother,
Yeah.
Rosina Parwater, and it's the only rugby stadium in the world named after a woman.
They said to me, just be careful when you go down. That was the basic rule.
Yeah.
JP, whatever you do,
Yeah.
two rules. Two rules. Be careful of what Mrs. Parwater.
Yeah.
And leave before sundown. Morgan Newman, how are you, man?
How's it, James? Good to be here.
How's the training going?
Yeah, good, eh? I did tweak my ankle a little bit last week.
Ankle?
But good to go.
Not too bad.
Nah, not too bad. Good to go.
Marty's ready for the season?
Yeah, boys are training hard. Obviously, the focus is still on the Varsity Cup, but yeah, we're training hard and looking forward to the first game.
And you've got all the students that are playing in the Varsity Cup are actually students?
Yes, they're all students, so they're all eligible to play in the league as well.
Just got to check.
Yeah.
No, nowadays, you know, the Varsity Cup and all
Yeah,
that.
no. Everything's in order.
Right, let's not waste too much time, folks. Let's take a look at those Super 15 results over the weekend. It was, a little bit up, a little bit down, and there you have it. The Lions going down to the Stormers, 24-19. The Bulls beating the Reds. What a massive score there, 61 points to 8. The Brumbies over the Highlanders, 33-26. The Crusaders, well, it was a close one for them, 28-21 over the Cheetahs. The Waratahs beating the Sharks by 4 points. A 1 point win for the Rebels over the Force, and the Blues 26-25 loss for them over the Hurricanes. Well, gentlemen, I mean, if we look at that there, let's just start with the team who we obviously support the most. Lions against the Stormers up in Joburg. Jerome, did we think there was going to be a bigger result here, a margin here?
I really think so, JP. I mean, I said by 14 points.
Yeah, and actually, in fact, you and I went the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was actually supposed to be by 20 points. So, if you look at the Lions team, then everybody, I mean, they've done well, the Lions, to come out and put up a performance like that.
And this is after we discussed that John Mitchell said that he had his worst injury run in history of coaching.
That's exactly, JP.
Hy het ons gesnoeke, né?
Maybe they heard what I said last week.
They smokkeled us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens, yeah. So we both went for 14 points. It didn't quite fall in our favor. They only won by 5. It just goes to show that even the experts can get it wrong. You know?
Yeah, no.
Morgs, well, your expectations there, Stormers Lions, it was a tight game.
Yeah, James, look, I think the Lions will be tough to beat at home. I don't think any team's going to go there and get too much of a big margin. So, yeah, I think the Lions did well, but the Stormers, you know, you don't want to play your best rugby 5 games into the season. So, long season to go still. I think the Stormers will show us what they're worth on the weekend against the Wolves.
This is going to be the tester. Do you think, Mr. H, I mean, not that we're going to divulge any secrets, not that you know any of the secrets, but we weren't holding back because of the Bulls this weekend, eh?
No, I don't think that was the...
They play every game.
But when you score 18 points quickly, you know, you sort of take the foot off the pedal.
We sort of did let them back into the game.
Yeah,
Joe.
we should just have...
I don't want to let secrets out, but I saw Mr. H's predictions on the Bulls Stormers game, but I'm not going to say anything.
Well, talk about the Bulls. I mean, they were a 61 points to 8 win over the Reds. I mean, the Reds was last year's start team. They were really the team to perform. They didn't have a bad game against the Sharks the week before. I mean, Morgs, really, what happened there? 61 points to 8. The Bulls just absolutely bullied them.
Yeah, James, look, I don't to be honest with you, I don't know what happened with the Reds, I think. I mean, the Bulls are playing good rugby, but for the Reds to put, a 50-point margin up against the Bulls is not a good performance. So I think they'll definitely want to prove a point this weekend coming up. But yeah, I mean, all credit to the Bulls, They came out and Loftus is becoming a fortress again, I think.
Stage, how was your prediction on that?
Yeah, I said the Reds by 3, and while I was watching you, I thought maybe I said the Reds will only score 3.
Yeah.
But maybe, thinking back now afterwards, they did lose 91 something to the Bulls previously.
Yeah.
So maybe that psychological scar was still with them, they just couldn't get over the field.
They clearly are just not the outfit of last year. I mean, maybe some of the shifting around of contracts overseas has also had an impact on the team that we're not always aware of. I mean, we're quite aware of South African transfers and Frans Steyn comes or goes, or what's that other chap that left to the Bulls? I forget these players who leave Western Province so quickly now. Saadi. Yeah, oh God. Okay, let's just stop there. They obviously have their own issues overseas in terms of like the Rebels coming out, new contracting, new players. I mean, obviously it's not cut and dry. I mean, one of the things that we thought was cut and dry was that the Brumbies. Well, I certainly didn't think that the Brumbies were going to pull it off against the Highlanders. I still said Eddie Jones joining Jake White. It's too soon, and we were talking about the life cycle of rugby, and the Brumbies came out and they did it. They hung on all the way through to the very end. Well, Joe?
Yeah, as I said last week, JP, when you were talking about Eddie Jones, Canberra is also, there's not much going on there.
No, there's nothing going on.
There's actually nothing going on. It's the capital.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on there.
Politics.
So, politics, but rugby is the main thing there, and they support that team, and it's difficult to go and play there. So you don't win there easily. And also, obviously, Jake is doing good with the team. I mean,
I just couldn't. I just surprised me. I just thought that the Brumbies, the days of the Owen Finnegans and so just wasn't there, hasn't been there for a while, and they dominated for so long. I'm very surprised that they managed to get it back so quickly. Whether or not they're going to be able to remain there and keep playing that sort of rugby remains to be seen. We'll take a look at the fixtures for the rest of the Super 15 a little bit later. Crusaders 28-21 over the Cheetahs. Morgs, it should have been, honestly, the Crusaders should have done better against Cheetahs.
James, as much as people say the Crusaders should have done better, I think I'm really starting to like the way the Cheetahs are playing rugby. I think they're playing with a sort of carefree style, and they're really scoring some good tries. They're really spreading the ball wide. So, look, I know they're not known to be sort of the top dogs in the Super 15, but they really are playing some good rugby, and I think they're going to be hard to beat coming back from tour.
They really do play with a couple of no-name brands. Some of those players, I think there's big names, and we love to make big names of players who come through the ranks, the Ebersons and so on. Nothing really special about these guys, but they pull it together.
But I think also, JP, I think Naka changed a lot. They took a lot of pressure off the players and letting them play now. In the past, where they were, they were so focused on their structures and doing the things right, like you know how the Cheetahs were playing and things like that. And it's just that you can see the players are relaxed. They've got youngsters there, and they just play.
Any truth to the rumour that Rassie's back at the Cheetahs? Anyone know? I heard he was brying up there with the boys and talking techniques. No? Who knows?
Which Cheetahs?
Who knows? Okay.
Who cares?
Which Cheetahs? Who cares? The Waratahs 34 points to 30. Sharks doing well there. Could have taken it. Not an easy game. Waratah's not the same team that they've been either, but the Sharks, a tough game for them as well. Stage?
Yeah, I think the Sharks, I don't know, it seems to me that they have problems up front. Although they have
they did have problems.
A very good, the names there are Springboks, but they don't seem to be able to carry it out on the field.
Yeah. Whereas our Stormers front rank as Jerome, they really are. I mean, Kitsoff and Malherbe and Brock Harris, they're holding their own up there.
Yeah, no, they really. I mean, that was always a problem with Province and Stormers, the tight five. But I mean, the youngsters they're really doing the work.
Would you say that a lot of this is due to Matt Proudfoot and his work on the front rankers, or is it a combination? Is it a combination of picking the right players and
JP, I think, I mean, that youngsters, they've got talent, and they also want to prove a point.
Yeah.
In the past, we had older guys there, and they were so comfortable that they're going to be in the thing. So I think the youngsters want to prove a point in where they want to go, and they can play there. So they're actually putting the older guys under a bit of pressure, which is good. So coaching a bit, but I mean, the guys really, they have to do their own thing on the
But
field.
there seems to be a spirit in the Stormers that they really are prepared to put their bodies on the line. There's no holding back. There's no baby approach on to hit the field. They're going balls to the wall, and if it come hell or high water, they do what they have to do.
But that's why I say, JP, I promise you, I think the way the game is going now and the amount of games that the guys are playing, there's no time to pace yourself. And the older guys, they can't hide anymore with the youngsters coming through. So they need to play, they need to perform. Otherwise, the youngsters are going to come pushing and pushing. And fortunately, we've got youngsters in Cape Town that's ready to play.
Another reason why the conditioning is so important. I mean, personally, I would have fired that conditioning coach from the Lions. But, you know, if you compare the two, you know, the Stormers, obviously conditioning is just so much better than anybody else. Clearly using the right nutrition supplements. They've got the right conditioning coaches. Really are up there. You know. There you have it, folks. If you're out there and you haven't got the right conditioning coaches, best you fire them. All right. Best you fire them. Fire them now. Okay, it's out there. The Rebels beating the Force by 1 point. Force could have done better there, Mr.
Yeah, but you know, the Rebels were due for some respite, and I chose it right.
You chose it right. Okay, fine. But are we still thinking of the Rebels as a young outfit that's just joined? Well, this is how we thought about the Force 5 years ago. New outfit, for not going to get it together for a while. Now the Force is a force to be reckoned with, and the Rebels, they've only been in action for 2 years. Do we still have a mentality of the Rebels or just the Rebels? But when you put the Rebels on a team now, and they've got the likes of O'Connor in that squad, that eighth man, Dale, or what's his name? Anyway, I mean, they've got a fantastic squad of players in the Rebels now, and they're pulling it together. They're not just a new team.
They're playing good rugby, JP. I must say, that's why all my predictions are against them, because I'm still thinking of where they were last year. But I promise you, watching their games, they're one of the sides that's playing really attractive rugby. So I think they're not a pushover anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm going to stick with the Rebels just yet. I don't think 1 point. Oh, they're not a pushover. That's right. And then, of course, the final match was the Blues against the Hurricanes. That was a very tight match. The Blues look like they're having a little bit of a mental wobble at the moment. They're not as stable as they were. I think the Kevin Mialama being out of the squad might have had a bit of an impact for them. Maybe he's still worried about the fact that a Blue Bulls player was chasing him with a bottle. You know, I think Hawks don't seem to be the outfit that they...
Yeah, look, they're not. I don't think they're performing to their potential at the moment, especially if you look at the team on paper. But I mean, you look at all the results. I mean, what the Super 15 is proving this year is that you got to play for 80 minutes. You know, it's a case of those results would probably my Super Brew. I'd probably be top of the log had it been a case of rugby being 75 minutes instead of 80. So, yeah, interesting weekend. But I mean, the teams are just showing you got to play for 80 minutes, and you know, the Hurricanes showed that again on the weekend by scoring that try in the last minute there.
Well, let's take a look at those conference logs now, folks. A lot of performance and up and down, and of course the conference is divided into 3 different sections. The Stormers in the first place in the South African Conference, followed by the Bulls, the Sharks, the Lions, and the Cheetahs. Yeah, the Stormers not doing too badly there, staying on top of the log, but of course it's going to be interesting when we look at the full conference. In the Aussie Conference, the Reds are firmly on the top still, even though things are not going all their way. The Brumbies, the Waratahs, the Rebels, and the Force right at the bottom. And in the New Zealand Conference, the Chiefs, the Highlanders, the Hurricanes, the Crusaders, and the Blues. Let's look at the full conference now. Full conference, wow, take a look at that. There you have South Africa's top performing team, the Stormers sitting firmly in first place across all 15 teams on 20 points. The Chiefs are doing pretty well in second place. I've got to ask a little bit here in terms of the Chiefs. Sonny Bill Williams, is he the main factor that's in the Chiefs at the moment that's making such a difference?
Look, Jeff, I must be honest, he's been playing some good rugby. If you're watching carefully, the amount of attention that he draws to himself, I mean, he immediately sort of, makes a bit more space for the rest of the guys. So as much as he maybe isn't doing as much, I think he attracts a lot of attention to himself. And you put 3 guys tackling Sonny Bill, you're looking at 14 v 12, So if people understand that concept. So, yeah, I mean,
no, actually, I have no idea. I mean, let's call Reddy D out here and explain to me how to go drifting at Killarney. What is a 14 v 12?
Well, what it really means is that if 3 guys are tackling Sonny Bill, and you've got the fullback who's dropped back, as well as the 2 wingers, you're looking at it. That's 5, 6 guys that are all not in the front line of defense. Okay. So when you talk 14 v 12, it's the amount of attackers that you have, as opposed to the amount of defenders that are capable of tackling you.
Right here, folks.
I think really do understand that,
of course, E is equal to MC squared. Don't forget, oxygen is O2 on the periodic table, and when you go back to play rugby, you better know your science, because 14v12 is out there. Right? It's coming out next year, new model. It's been dropped a little bit to make sure that it fits in with us. 6 inches low, for hydraulic suspension. Reddy D, my man on Good Hope FM, will tell you that's the car you got to have to go drifting. 14v12, is that the right one?
Yeah, pretty close, Jeff.
14v12. Mr. H.
An interesting point.
Yes.
On the log. Only out of the 58 games that were played, only 5 had bonus points for 4 tries or more.
Yes, the defensive structures are definitely working.
And on the other side, 21 of those games ended with less than 1.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, the Stormers are not on either side. They didn't get a bonus point that side or bonus point on that side.
But if we look at the tackle count of the Stormers, I mean, the Stormers, I think tackle count was something like 213 versus something like 20, 30?
35.
35. I mean, that shows you that there's an incredible defensive structure laid out. And the majority of those tackles are first-time tackles made.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the interesting to measure is first-time tackles versus missed tackles.
And one good aspect about the Stormers' defense is 5 minutes from the lines. I don't know why teams still try to go and play pick up and goes, because nobody scores like that.
Yeah, it's too tight.
Everybody tries.
There's always a penalty somewhere. You knock on.
Yeah, they never get through there.
Yeah, so except when I'm looking for my last-minute score in the last minute. Let's quickly wrap up the last of those conference logs then, folks. If we were looking then at the Stormers at the top, of course, the Chiefs, the Brumbies, and the Bulls firmly in first, second, and third place. Those conference logs definitely indicating for us, who is dominating, and the South African teams are not doing too badly. The Stormers are up there, the Bulls are up there, and of course, the Sharks, the Lions, the Cheetahs are down at the bottom, so maybe we're not quite dominating those conference logs. Evox is, of course, coming up for you guys, folks. Time for you to win yourself a rugby pack of Evox products, supporting you all the way through your club rugby season. Remember, you can get all the guys at Evox, at the Evox offices. If you're a club rugby player, you can get your products directly from them as a sponsored at sponsored rates. First of all, one of the products that you need to make sure you always have is your Mega Grow. This is a protein-based product. It's a meal replacement, and incidentally, it's not only for rugby people. It's just generally to make sure that your protein content is high enough. And you would have heard of late that Tim Noakes has been talking about the importance of protein. Finally, after all of these years, as much as we've had to fight with dietitians giving bad advice and saying that you can only eat biltong and custard and that's what will get you through a rugby season, Tim Noakes has finally come out and said protein is what you need. You need more and more protein. It's the bottom line. It's finally time people realize that. Of course, though, once you've trained and gained your muscle, very important to make sure that you recover products. So make sure that you recover after your training, because you cannot train tomorrow if you didn't recover properly today. So really important that you never ever train on a damaged muscle, whether it's gym, rugby, running, whatever it is, young or old, any sport. If you train today, if you break a muscle down, you have to be able to train tomorrow back at 100%. And the only way to do that is to make sure you get your protein in to repair the muscle, and the other way is to get your carbohydrate and protein combination in within 20 minutes after your training session. All right? There's a window of opportunity. It's like a sponge. Once you've finished training, your body is ready to suck up the nutrients. So after 20 minutes, that window of opportunity is wide open. This is when you need to get your recovery product in. And if you don't get it in, that window of opportunity slowly starts to close, and eventually after 20 minutes or so, that maximum time for maximum absorption for your nutrients that you need for recovery starts to disappear. So very important that 20 minutes after your training, and any coach that's worth his salt right now, or any club rugby player that's working for a coach, you should be making sure that you guys have got a recovery drink to take. It's very easy, it's cheap enough, and a tub like this can support an entire squad of players for an entire session. So it's low cost, available to you, the club rugby player. Get your coach to do it. And one of the simplest ways that we've always taught the Stormers is simple. Do it old school style. Don't worry about all the fancy stuff. You take a tub like this, you throw it in a bucket, you mix it up with some water, and when you finish training, you just take your glass, scoop it, drink it, job done. Then you can go and have your beer and your Texan plain. Right. And of course, the final product during the week on top of your meal replacement is to throw in a little bit of creatine. This really helps you recover even better and pack on the muscle. You want to win yourself this rugby pack of products, the creatine, the Mega Grow, and of course the recovery product. All you need to do is tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to the DHL Stormers and Western Province Rugby and you, the club rugby player. Now, let's take a look at last week's winner. Last week's winner, SMS, the right number in, and was Avery Marcus. Congratulations, Avery. Win yourself a rugby pack, a rapid recovery, a Mega Grow, and 200 grams of creatine. And folks, if you want to win this for yourself, there's a new number to SMS now. SMS the word EVOX to 33280. Get your cell phones out and start dialing right now. SMS the word EVOX to 33280. EVOX is, of course, the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby. Right, that's what you need to do. If you want to come to the factory, you want to get your products directly, get hold of your coach, or just get hold of the guys EVOX in Cape Town, and you, as a registered club rugby player, are entitled to these products, courtesy of EVOX. Right, it's time for us to take an ad break, and when we come back, we are going to take a look at some of the events coming up this weekend. It's the 31st of March, and for some other reason, all clubs want to have rugby days on the 31st of March. Back in a mo. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. It is, of course, Wednesdays, 9 o'clock live, and we bring you the very best of rugby in Cape Town. Quite a couple of events coming up at the moment. Folks have been mailing their events in according to the method that we've been talking about at the social media seminar. One of the first events coming up this week is, of course, in Kraaifontein. It's their 65th birthday celebration. You can come and join the Kraaifontein Rugby Club for a day filled with exciting rugby. 26 teams are playing. There's live entertainment. That's this Saturday, the 31st of March. Big screen TV and Mr. H's favorite, jumping castles. So you can get down to the Kraaifontein Rugby fields this weekend and come and see what the guys are up to there. So that's going to be very exciting. And then, of course, Union Mill are also having an event on the 2nd of April. Join the Union Mill boys in their toughest challenge to date, being waiters on the Spur Burger Night. That's at the Malibu Spur in Bayside at 7 o'clock, and get ready to be entertained. And Brackenfell Rugby Day is also this weekend. It's Brackenfell up against Paarl on the 31st of March. You can, as we mentioned last week, you can get the big screens up there. You can watch the Stormers. The Stormers versus the Bulls are, of course, on the big screen this weekend. Kiddies are going to be there. There's going to be a dance. I think it's going to be a sokkie jol. There's going to be prize draws. There's going to be a whole lot of fun. You can contact Werner there at the Brackenfell Rugby Club. We'll put that slide up for you any second now. You can contact Werner there on 076-050-6807. So that's the Brackenfell Club Rugby versus Paarl Rugby Club. And then Silvertree. Silvertree are putting on an event on Friday night. You can go down to Malta Park Sports Complex. I urge you to go down there and support the clubs. Take the platter there for only $25. Starting at 6:30. Prepared by Silvertree's very own chef Safwan that cooks for the well-known Springboks. For the well-known Springboks, Chef Safwan. Oh, there we go. Mr. H, quite a lot of local activities at the moment. Eh? Friendlies, derby days, pre-season. Is it always this busy before?
Yes, it's always very busy, and the fact that Easter weekend follows this weekend, when a lot of guys don't play because people go away and so on. So this weekend they're putting everything into it, and next weekend they will probably take a rest and then be ready for the kickoff.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of those big buzz things. It's getting.
Yeah, everybody's very excited.
But should people not be looking at not doing events on the same day? I mean, why does everybody want to do a match, a rugby day on the 31st of March? Don't they check the schedules? I mean, Hamilton's Villagers, who of course are having their rugby match as well, are also playing this weekend.
I think a lot of them will stop early.
We've got to look at the scheduling though.
So that the people can sort of...
I mean, there's some golden rules when you do events. Is like if U2 is playing at the Cape Town Stadium, you don't schedule an event. If the Argus Cycle Tour is in Cape Town, you don't schedule an event. If it's the Two Oceans, you don't schedule an event. And on a Wednesday night, if it's the Twilight Team Run, you cancel it because Cape Rugby's on. All right, it's time for Mesa now, folks. You, of course, know that last week we gave you a 42-inch plasma screen courtesy of Mesa. Mesa is the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby. Winning for themselves a 42-inch plasma screen was Patricia Becker. Congratulations to Patricia. She wins herself a 42-inch plasma screen. Well done. That was a great prize. The prize for grabs then this week is the Mesa Netbook. You've had a chance to win this netbook before. It's 2 gigs of RAM, a 320 gigabytes of hard drive, built-in 3G modem, genuine Windows 7 starter pack. That's the Mesa Netbook. If you want to win that, you need to tell us who is the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby. Don't forget to send your name as well as the word that you need to send. Who is the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby? SMS your name to 33280. Start that SMS off, of course, with the correct word. I'll give you a clue. It starts with an M, and then it's followed with an E, and then it's followed with a C, and then it's followed with an E, and then R, and then your name after that. The number, once again, look carefully on the screen, 33280. You can put yourself in the mix to win a Mesa Netbook, courtesy of Mesa, the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby. Right. It's, of course, a lot of other things going on at the moment. Mr. H, if we're talking now about Union on the spot, one of the biggest things that happened this weekend was the City Park 50-year celebration, and we're going to look at that video from City Park in a second. If we just look at City Park now, we went out there, we did a bit of filming there. 50 years of history, but this is not the same as the clubs that are 120 years old or the clubs that are 150 years old or whatever. City Park's 50 years is a different type of celebration.
Yeah, it's just the venue that's 50 years. Before that, they were in Mowbray.
Yeah.
They played there for...
But just give us a bit of a background here. I know we're going to see some of that information on the video before we go to the Leisure Hotels competition, which is coming up after the video. If people think it was City Park that was playing at Mowbray, but it wasn't just City Park.
No, there were a number of clubs that played there.
A number of clubs played at Mowbray.
And then they were told to leave the area because of the Group Areas Act.
The Group Areas Act during apartheid.
And then they obtained that City Park. And 50 years ago, they moved in there for the first time. That's why it's 50 years.
And they actually bought the field.
Yeah, they bought the field. That's why that's the only ground that is owned by people other than the white people That's the only venue that is owned by the sports clubs themselves.
Yep. No white people. Right.
Strangely enough,
Clearly I'm the quota player on the squad.
strangely enough, if you go through the history of City Park,
Yeah.
all the mayors and prime ministers of the Cape Colony in those years were the chairpersons.
Yes, you showed me that book.
Yeah.
That book on the day. I don't know where you got that book. The book looks like it's about 200 years old.
No, when the union, the City and Suburban Union was 100 years old,
Right.
we put that together.
And those officials back in the early 90s, we're talking about 1901 and 1902, they were people of color and they were the mayors of
No, they were white people.
white people.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
And they were part of City Park.
Yes, I don't know why it was like that.
And currently
And they still have all their books, minute books,
Right.
from 1898 up to Unity. 100 years of books.
Well, I see Saru, or Saru now. Sarfu. I always should make up their mind over the last 20 years. How many times have they changed the name? Saru is now back to Saru, and then just Sarfu, now Saru. Anyway, SA Rugby have decided that they are going to digitally archive their history. And they have put out proposals for people to bring, to tender for scanning and archiving the history of South African rugby. That should be quite a fascinating project, and would probably be a lot more fascinating in the Western Province club rugby circles.
Yeah, because at the moment we have about 19 clubs that's over 100 years old in Western
19.
Province.
Just on the City Park issue, who plays at City Park now? It's a shared field.
Yeah, Progress, Cities, Temperance, Perseverance.
All clubs that are struggling,
Yeah, they all play there.
and they're struggling.
But Primrose and Retreat and Thistles, they are all part of that whole, of the original clubs that,
So how many clubs
old.
play on the field?
no, only 4.
Four. Should they not amalgamate?
Yeah, that would be the best thing for them to do.
They should amalgamate. Why do they not amalgamate?
I think,
Ego,
I think it's just that,
territorial behavior,
yeah, and the will amongst the officials are not there. I think the players
the
would love,
will.
yeah, the will to do it. The players would love to do it.
Players would love to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure the players would love
Surely
it.
the players are the ones that vote the administrators into the game.
Yeah.
The players would like to amalgamate. Jerome?
Mr. H, is it true? I heard a story on Saturday. There was one club that you have to pass the pencil test. I don't know what's out. Did you pass the pencil test?
Yes, we heard that at
I'm not, I'm not that old. I can't
pencil
recall.
test.
But I've heard stories that if you didn't have sleek hair, you couldn't play at City Park.
So I'd be
So
sad.
how did you play it?
No, well, I had my hair blown right now.
Listen, let's just explain the pencil test to our white listeners who might not know how the pencil test work, right? So when it was a question of you were getting your ID book, and then they had to, back in the day, choose if you were white, colored, black, Indian, apparently, that's how they did it, am I right?
Yeah.
They put a pencil, and if it just fell straight through,
Then you
Then you're white.
you were white.
So I would never.
I don't even know if we'll get the lead into your pencil.
Family show, JP.
I'm talking about the lead that you put inside the pencil, man. You know, like the clicking
sorry.
pencil. Where's your mind, Morgan? Really, right? Let's take a look at that video, folks. It was an emotional day. 50 years of celebration as a rugby field, or at least as a sporting venue. History of people that came together 50 years ago when they realized that they were pushed out of their homes, pushed out of their sporting fields. They took control, and we heard the words mentioned so many times on the day of how their forefathers of those various clubs took the initiative to buy that venue. It was a very moving day and lots of memories and lots of folks coming back and saying hello to each other. Let's catch up with them a little bit.
Gaan terug na julle clubs toe en recruit die jonger ouens. Veral die reëls het verander na 32 toe. Bring die ouens. Dis baie beter. My kinders vrek oor om saam te kom hiernatoe. Die hele kinders moet ook kom.
For those of you that don't know, this ground is this year 50 years old. It belongs to the owners of the grounds is the players. It is not owned by the municipality. We are the owners of this ground.
I must tell you, I'm proud to be a City and Suburban Rugby Football Union player. But I want to pay tribute to the forefathers of this organization who had the foresight to prepare an organization like this. We are the only so-called black people to own a ground like this. Every Wednesday here on the ground, we have about 400 under 13 youngsters who come and play rugby, and that also it's also having a future. At least we know that we're going to have a future in the future.
There's a proud heritage around this field, and we always reminded ourselves we were the only non-racial union that had purchased and owned their own property. So yeah, this day brings back memories, and there are many people who gave more than just time and money. They gave their lives to ensure that this dream that we have here, that could be realized.
First of all, it's our anniversary, our 50th anniversary, which is a huge achievement, I think, for this organization, especially 50 and the way the global economy is. And for us to survive in this time, I think it's a feather in our cap somehow. Well, way back, you know, in the old days, and let's say in the old South Africa, our, you know, City and Suburban, we are well known throughout the country. Our officials at that time and our forefathers always had a foresight of what's going to happen in the future. We played a big role within South African rugby at that time, but at least they had the foresight to look at our future. And
proud to be here, to be able to commemorate what our forefathers' dreams were in a time of hardship, that they could collect pennies and then being kicked out from the original ground and come here and provide us a unique situation in the country that we find ourselves, that we can be proud that we own a ground as people that was disadvantaged.
City Park is a wonderful feeling to be back here, to see some of my old friends. I think that is wonderful. I haven't seen them for many years. It makes one feel good that they are still around and still enjoying the game, and they're still healthy.
I actually played here as a youngster, my first game for Primroses many years ago, my first game on this very field here. So I've got fond memories of playing here.
No, it's great to have the rugby in the community, but lots of mistakes both sides. So Province pull it through. Yeah, good 3 wins. Terrific start. So yeah, couldn't ask for better. Let's just hope they do it against the Lions and my words don't come back to bite me.
Well, I started my rugby at JP as an 8-year-old, and I played for Primrose as a junior. I just recall, I told my daughter on my way here, we used to walk 2 kilometers to the field on every Saturday and 2 kilometers back home. And that was the norm for us. Nothing extraordinary, you know. And playing our rugby here from juniors until the age of about 19, 20. I recall whenever we played here on a Saturday afternoon, this whole field was full. I think we averaged about between 3,000 and 5,000 people here per Saturday. And since then, rugby has really, the numbers of rugby players has really dwindled here. But it's great to have the Vodacom back, and I see the City Sports Board of Control is doing a good job getting the old people back again. And it's nice seeing the older guys that we've played with, you know, even though I still feel very young. But it's nice being here. I was still a high school boy when I played the first team for Primrose this year. And it's something that will stick in your memory for as long as you remember rugby.
There we go, folks. City Park, what a destination. Did you see, unfortunately, what that little last clip looked like there? Do you know what the outside of the building looks like? Mm-hmm. Who's responsible for painting that place?
They must paint it.
Who's they?
The City Park Board.
City Park Board?
Yeah.
Are they getting funding for that place? No. I mean, if we're going to amalgamate those 4 clubs, which is going to happen now, or we're not going to put them on the show anymore, City Park's got a brilliant future. It's got a potential to be a great venue, but you can't have four teams playing on the same field at the same time, sharing a field. It's ridiculous.
I agree with you.
So put them together. Get the union to put the stamp of approval on that. Anyway, let me ask you, get back to the painting there. They need to put some paint on that.
They started there, so they painted the front.
Yeah.
So now they're going to the back.
It's got good facilities. I mean, I didn't include it in the video there, folks, and you would have seen it, but you didn't see it there. But we had so much content, so many people we spoke to there on the day, So many people came out to come and enjoy the day and reunite themselves with old friends, old rugby players that played on the day. Many of them mentioned the fact that Peter Jooste was the dirtiest player in the history of Western Province rugby, but they said he was a nice guy. We believed him, but generally they said that they took advantage of. He bullied people. He bullied the players. He was a tough guy in his day. But I'm just relaying what the people out there said. But the fact is, we met so many people came out there and rubbed shoulders against people who, in the words of Peter Jooste himself and many of the other players, that field saw a lot of blood and sweat and tears. And not only did a lot of blood and sweat and tears go into the rugby matches, but also the sacrifice by the, as Pat Kin there mentioned, the forefathers or his forefathers to buy that ground and have that sort of facility. But Mr. H, looking at that facility, I spoke to the groundskeeper there, which I didn't include in the video, and I must say there were a couple of gentlemen there that were so friendly, coming up to me to say hello, and they watched the show. They were giving me all sorts of advice. There was a gentleman there, I don't have his name now, who brought me a ginger beer. I must just say thank you very much to you, sir. It was really appreciated. It was baie dors want jy weet Mr. H my niks gegee om te drink nie. Ek's maar 'n employee van tyd tot tyd. Daar was 'n dag vir die media en VIP's was, maar anyway daai dae is ek gone. A ginger beer, a stony, jy weet. Dit was nog lekker, maar anyway, the grass was in great condition. I mean, you've got a great caretaker there.
You see, nobody practices on that field.
Right.
They only play matches there. There's
Okay.
practice on the B and the C field. And that's why it's, the standard of the field is so high.
So if you had to turn that into I mean, let's play a hypothetical game here. If you had to amalgamate those four teams, and you put one team there, almost like Survivor, you make one team and you come up with a different name maybe. And you get rid of the old people that are objecting and don't want to move forward and can't see the bigger picture and in the process are neglecting sponsorship and actually looking after the community properly. Once the players have decided what they want to do, they'll tell those people, hopefully. I mean, isn't that what it is? Life is supposed to be democratic?
Yeah.
Right, so the players should have the choice of what to do. The thing that I'm trying to get at here is, if you had to turn it into the venue, do you have all the facilities to make it a good venue? Is it a doable thing? Is there parking?
There's enough parking.
Transport?
Transport is easy. I mean, in the olden days, the retreat people and all those guys got into the train.
Right.
And they just got off at the Crawford station and walked down the road.
So there's a lot. It's got all the facilities. Certainly you got the grass. Remember, have you played at City Park?
Yeah, I've played there. I think I've played 2 games there.
Yeah.
But it's always a great place to go and play at it. But back then, there were a lot of clubs.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not that old, but when I played
No, I know
there,
that.
they were, rugby was quite good. Back then it was quite good there. I've played after unification. Like I said, I think I've played about 2 games there.
Yeah.
But that's a great facility, JP. I think that can almost be like a extra add-on if province have got this money to do that for almost like another institute.
Yes.
Because it's a perfect where the place is.
I think you've got enough institutes. I think what we need are clubs serving the communities with sponsorships. So the clubs can get money, and then they can put money back into the community. So sorry, I'm going to disagree with you on that point.
But maybe what I'm saying is club guys and other guys, who youngsters who can still, but if they upgraded a bit more.
You mean like more like an academy?
More like an academy sort of thing.
For the local kids to come and
because
learn to play
it
rugby?
belongs to province and whoever. I don't know, Mr. H, who really.
Well, it belongs to the owners, folks. It's Leisure Hotels time now. Okay, it's time for us to give away a couple of. We've got to look after the sponsors here. We can't let them just promote City Park all night long. All right, it's Leisure Hotels. Okay, all right, I'm doing all the talking tonight. It's Leisure Hotels, of course, one of our keenest sponsors here. You want to win yourself a night of accommodation at the Strand Towers. All you need to do is tell us to send the word leisure to 33280. Last week's winner is Heather Johnson. Congratulations to Heather. You win yourself a night of accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers. You want to win yourself that prize? Then just SMS the word leisure to 32010. Time for us to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at this week's Stormers announcement to face up against the Bulls. Back in a mo. Hello everybody, we're back here with Cape Rugby live with you. It's time for us to take a look at that Stormers team announcement then, taking on the Bulls this weekend. The gates opening at 14:30, so it's nice and early. You can get out there, it's going to be an absolute jewel. Of course, when you go to Newlands, you can braai, you can open your boot, there's parking on the fields, and then you can have boerewors rolls, and then you can take your time, and etc., etc. All right, unfortunately, we can't offer you anything more than that right now. Joe Peterson is at fullback here. Plon Jean de Jong. Jean de Villiers is captaining the side once again. What a fantastic game he had last week, leading from the front. Brian Banner, Peter Grant, Dewald Dibbenacher. Dwayne Vermeulen is back at 8th man. Reinhard Elstead is back in the picture. Sia Khaleesi, Andries Becker. Eben Etzebeth, the new Iron Man of rugby. Brock Harris, Tian Liebenberg, Stephen Kitsoff. Those three drumming up the front and absolutely demolishing the Lions last week. Dion Fourie, Frans Malherbe, De Cox, Steenkamp, Nick Costa, Louis Schroeder, Burton Francis, and Gerard van Jeffen are on the bench. Opening the gates at 4:30. Of course, it's the Boerland take on the Pampas. That's at 4:45. And then your big match kickoff is at 7:10. And the referee is Craig Joubert. Right, so that is your team of the weekend. Morgs, how do you feel about that squad?
Yeah, James, good side. I mean, I think interesting selection with Reinhard coming in at flank there. I think Nick's been playing well. I mean, he got man of the match 2 weeks ago. And if you look at his tackle count and the amount of work that he put in last weekend, I'm a bit surprised. But yeah, I mean, look, Reinhard is known to be a hard man himself. So with him and Eben in the same pack, it makes for an interesting sort of tussle up front against the Bulls, who we all know is a tough side to beat, and you got to take them on up front.
A couple of injuries for the Bulls, though, Jerome. I see Stegman is still out. One of their front rankers is out.
Yeah, interesting, JP, that Bulls pack who played last week.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the injuries that they've got now was basically the same pack that played the Stormers or the Province in the Currie Cup side. And we didn't have Andries and Dwayne.
Yeah.
And Reinhard was also out. And okay, Kitsoff didn't play.
Yeah.
So so there's
this
four,
week we should destroy
up front. Yeah, we should.
But those Bulls players, the youngsters, with the injuries that the Bulls had, I mean, they really did step up.
No, they also. But like I said, that's the pack that we've played in the Currie Cup.
Yeah.
And we've got Andries, Dwayne back, Reinhard back. So and Kitsoff is playing good rugby at the moment. So I think it's going to be the battle is going to be up front. But the way the Bulls are playing now, they actually scored tries now.
Playing attacking rugby.
Yeah, they've scored 17 tries so
they're
far.
They're playing attacking rugby against teams with weak defence, and the Stormers got the best defence, so they might have to change their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I say it will be up front.
Yeah.
Because they think they're going to change and come up front, but
they haven't met Eben Etzebeth yet.
Yeah, they haven't
met Eben Etzebeth yet.
Yeah, and also Sia Khaleesi.
Oh, his family.
And Sia Khaleesi.
Yeah. Or Sia Khaleesi.
Yeah.
How's Gary van Asveer? Anyway, we'll get to that in a little minute or so. It's time for us to look at White Line Fever, Color Tone Paints, of course, your White Line sports line marker of choice. And if you would like to win yourself a hamper of Color Tone Paints, all you need to do is SMS the word Color Tone to 32010. There you have it on your screen right now. Color Tone sports line markers is, of course, the white line markers that go around your field. It is environmentally friendly. That is what you need. Last week's winner who SMS'd the name to 32010 was Silver Tree. Congratulations to Silver Tree. They're winning for themselves a hamper courtesy of Color Tone. Remember, you just SMS that number now to 33280. Send the word Color Tone. It's a new number, folks. Take note of that. 33280. It is now time for us to do our Super Brew predictions. Yes, sir. This is what it all comes down to. The nervousness, the nervous tension during the week of who does what in Super Brew. The amount of phone calls that I get. Who went up? Who went down? Everybody's paying attention down to the very last minute. Don't score. Don't score. 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 Get over there. Why'd you do that? Only one more minute and it wouldn't have happened. It was on the mark and then they changed it the last thing. I was so close. These are the stories that I get from the Super Brew fans. Let's quickly look at those rankings then. Who went up and who went down? There you go. At Bendy Beer goes up 3 points and takes the lead now with 38 points in the Super Brew rankings. Remember, you can join us on superbrew.com, Super Rugby Pool, or just look for Cape Rugby TV. Come and join us if you're a Super Brew player. You can join in as many as 5 pools. And so if you're out playing in another pool, come and join us. Just do a search on Cape Rugby TV and you'll find us. Up 16 places, Urban Warriors. Where's the yellow cap? And that is, of course, the yellow cap for the best performer. Followed by Vern, Lundy, Milky, 009. Mr. H drops down 1 point, down to 6th position. One of the only members in the top 10. I was in the top 10 for a little bit, and I got squeezed out in that last game. Paolo, Vin Diesel, Adrian, and Strip Trayer Boy bring up the 10th place. There you go. Right, folks, so those are your Super Brew rankings. Mr. H, you are doing pretty well. At one stage, you were 3rd on the rankings during the week.
Yeah, but the Reds, they made a mistake there.
Yeah?
But yeah, that's how it goes.
That's the way it goes. We've got 3 minutes to get to, or about 2 minutes to get through our rankings here. Morgs, Highlanders and Rebels is the first game. Your pick.
James, Highlanders by 10.
Highlanders by 10, Jerome.
Highlanders by 7.
Highlanders by 7.
10 Highlanders.
Highlanders by 10. I will go Highlanders by 13. Hurricanes and Cheetahs, Morgs.
Hurricanes, Cheetahs, James. Yes.
Playing in Wellington?
Yeah, I'm going to go, stick my neck out. I'm going to go Cheetahs, James. Cheetahs by 5.
Right, you will be sticking it out and probably getting it chopped off. Or Jerome.
Hurricanes by 3.
Hurricanes by 3. This is the way to go. Small scores. The games are getting tighter. They're all learning to get back into the mix. Mr. H.
Hurricanes 7.
Hurricanes 7. I will go with the Hurricanes by 9 if you care to join me. Chiefs and the Waratahs playing at Hamilton. I'll give a go first. I'm going to give the Chiefs by 6. I think Sonny Bill Williams is a star attraction, but he's not such a big star attraction. I think he's a bit of a one-hit wonder. His days are probably over. We probably won't see much more rugby from him. Mr. H.
Chiefs by 8.
Chiefs by 8. Jerome.
Chiefs by 9.
Chiefs by 9. Morgs.
Chiefs 17.
Chiefs by 17. He's a Sonny Bill Williams fan through and through. All right, the Sharks and the Brumbies, Morgs.
Sharks.
Obviously.
9.
Sharks by 9. Jerome.
Brumbies by 7.
Brumbies by 7.
Brumbies 10.
Brumbies 10. I'm going to go with the Sharks by 1.
Yo.
Yeah. Look at what happened with the Brumbies last week. They're playing at home. Jake White and Eddie Jones and the boys are back in the mix. Force versus the Reds, Morgs.
Yes, where are they playing, JP?
Perth.
Reds.
You're going to go with the Reds?
3.
3.
I'll go Force travelling, so I'll go Reds travelling, so I'll go Force by 3.
Force by 3, I like it. Jerome, me and you on the same blue. Force by 3, I'm going to go Force by 2. That's my prediction. My predictions are already in, folks. So, Lions and the Crusaders, of course, this was a big surprise for us. The Crusaders not doing nearly as well as they could. Lions and Crusaders, we've got 30 seconds left. Lions and Crusaders, Morgs.
Crusaders,
Jerome.
18.
Crusaders 12.
Mr. H.
Crusaders 12.
I'm going to go with the Crusaders by 3. Stormers and the Bulls, this is the big one. Morgs.
Stormers 2.
Stormers 2.
Stormers 5.
Stormers 5.
I'll go Stormers by 8. Those are our Super Brew predictions, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a cracker of a match. Don't forget, you can get out there.
Sold out.
Sold out?
No tickets available.
No tickets available. The game is sold out. And remember, of course, there is a warm-up match just before the game with the Pumpers against the Blue Bulls, or at least against Boland playing at Newlands. Join us then every week, Monday, or at least on Wednesdays, live at 9 p.m. www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby is our Facebook handle. Twitter at Cape Rugby TV. Live on Wednesdays. We will be seeing you out at one of those derby matches this weekend. Kraaifontein, Belleville, or Hamilton's. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.